Daniel is an aged exile who rose to prominence because he interprets dreams and signs. He lives under Babylon's rule, but remains loyal to the God of Israel. His wisdom marks him out as the man who can read heaven's handwriting. Belshazzar is the young, proud ruler who hosts lavish feasts. He inherits a kingdom built by others and treats divine things as trophies. His arrogance blinds him to the consequences of mocking what he does not honor. As the previous scene closes with Belshazzar's pride, he orders a great feast using sacred vessels taken from Jerusalem's temple. The guests drink wine and praise foreign gods. This is sacrilege. Babylon parades Israel's holy objects as party decorations, and the king provokes the God who once rescued his city. In that moment, the crowd cheers as Belshazzar toasts, and he says words that mock the Lord of heaven. He praises the gods of gold and silver and drinks from holy cups. This insult is not mere reverence. In ancient culture, it is a public challenge to divine honor and a claim over sacred power. But in the middle of the revelry, a pale light pierces the hall, and a hand appears writing on the plaster. The music dies. The guests freeze. This is not trickery. The hand is a heavenly sign, a direct interruption of human celebration by divine judgment. As the previous light fades, Belshazzar's face turns to ash. He sees writing in a language none of his wise men understand. Fear replaces drunken bravado. The king's terror reveals what his revelry could not hide: a ruler vulnerable before the moral order that governs nations. When their wise men are summoned, they examine the wall and confess they cannot interpret the script. This failure matters. In Mesopotamia, learned men read omens and controlled meaning, yet here human expertise collapses before a divine sign, proving the sign is not merely mysterious but authoritative. At that point, the Queen Mother remembers Daniel. She tells Belshazzar about this man who once served Nebuchadnezzar, and whose God made dreams clear. Her memory is decisive. It opens the only path from confusion to truth, pointing the king toward a God he has ignored. So Daniel is summoned from his modest quarters and brought before the trembling king. The room quiets as the prophet stands. This arrival matters because Daniel represents a tradition of covenantal faith that can interpret God's messages and thus restore moral clarity to a ruler in panic. As the previous hush continues, Belshazzar promises Daniel gold, a purple robe, and high rank if he will interpret the writing. This is a political offer, restoring honor and power in exchange for the truth. Daniel refuses to be bribed. He will speak only what the sign declares. But Daniel answers plainly. He reminds the king how Nebuchadnezzar was humbled when he proved proud, and God removed his glory. Daniel explains that gifts and titles cannot hide moral failure. This rebuke matters because it names the root sin. Belshazzar is counting on power while despising God's honor. Then Daniel reads the words aloud: Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. He explains their meaning one by one: counted, weighed, divided. These ancient terms declare that the king's days are numbered. His deeds have been weighed and found wanting, and his kingdom will be divided. The reading is a forensic judgment. As Daniel continues, he unfolds the first word, Mene. God has numbered the days of your reign. This phrase is sober and exact. In the ancient world, numbering was a way to claim control. For a king, Being counted means the timeline of power has been set by divine authority. Then he explains Tekel. You are weighed on the scales and found deficient. This image of weighing is legal and moral. Kings are accountable. Daniel tells Belshazzar that the moral measure of his reign fails. Silver and gold cannot tip the scales of justice. Finally, Daniel deciphers Upharsin or Perez. Your kingdom will be divided and given to the Medes and Persians. He ties the symbolic to the geopolitical. A moral failure begets political consequences. The sentence links sin, judgment, and the transfer of power in history. As Daniel finishes, the court is stupefied. That same night the Persian forces enter, betrayals unfold, and Belshazzar's fate is sealed. The story makes clear that divine judgment can be immediate and political. Moral corruption in leadership invite swift historical reversal. And as morning comes, the ancient record aligns with Daniel's words. Babylon falls to the Medes and Persians, and the empire's power fractures. The narrative underscores a theological point for the original audience. God is sovereign over empires and can unmake prideful kings. In the wake of the calamity, Daniel emerges with his integrity intact. He never sought the king's favor. His role affirms a conviction central to the text. Faithful witness to God matters more than royal patronage. The political change does not erase moral truth. As the dust settles, the narrator explains that the episode teaches a specific truth. When leaders profane what is holy, they invite not just moral blame, but divine intervention that reshapes history. Judgment in Daniel 5 links ethics to geopolitics in a way meant to convict rulers and reassure the powerless. The lesson of this chapter is clear. God holds kings accountable. Arrogance that profanes the holy will be judged and can lead to sudden political overthrow. Daniel 5 teaches that divine justice connects moral responsibility with the fate of nations. If this story moved you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell so you do not miss the next one.